Whether you are looking at upgrading your brakes or looking at swapping out wheels on your car that already has large brakes, you're going to want to take the clearance of your wheels and your brake calipers or other brake components into some consideration. And it becomes one of those things that can get a little forgotten about when it comes at looking for a new set of wheels or upgrading your brakes. I'm Gels from Fitment Industries, and welcome back to another episode of the Build Sheet, where we're going to be going over big brake clearance. Before we go ahead and get into it, don't forget to subscribe and check out everything wheels, tires, and suspension related over at fitmentindustries.com. And if you haven't followed us on Snapchat yet, make sure to do so, because we post a lot of cool behind the scenes stuff and what the daily life at Fitment Industries is. It's kind of cool. Anyway, when we are going over clearance of wheels and brakes, what we're going to be looking at for the most part is the amount of space that there is between the face of the brake caliper and the back of the wheel spokes. Some cars like Evos, Genesis Coupes, or pretty much any other car that come with more than standard brakes from the factory run into a little bit of an issue when it comes down to looking for a new set of aftermarket wheels. So the first thing to keep in consideration is the offset that the wheels that you are looking at has. Typically anything with a higher offset or anything that pulls the face of the wheel in towards the car more is typically where we see this issue start to arise. Typically wheels with a lower offset will have either a deeper concave or more of a spoke clearance that will help clear the bigger calipers. And when we talk about the concave or deepness of the wheel, it kind of ties into the next thing to keep in mind, which is actually the overall design of the wheel itself. Now, some wheels naturally have that big brake clearance built into them. Cosmos Racing is a perfect example of that, but other wheels like the Work Kiwami or any other wheel with a good amount of curve or concave to the spoke design will typically clear most brake setups. However, that's not the only thing that we have to look at here. The issue really starts to come into play with some older design wheels that have more of a flat face design or just have that high offset with not a lot of space behind the spokes. And when that happens, they just don't come away from the actual hub mounting surface to give the proper amount of clearance. And when this happens, we usually see people start to run spacers on their setup, giving them the amount of room that they need, but not necessarily the right fitment. But the spokes aren't the only thing that you need to worry about here. We also see people run into an issue with the actual barrel of the wheel coming into contact with their brakes as well. Now, usually this is going to be when swapping to either a larger diameter brake setup or downsizing the overall diameter of the wheel, causing that barrel to come in closer to the top of the brake caliper. So what are some of the ways to know that if your setup that you're looking at is going to fit? Well, I'm glad that you asked. The most surefire way to know is to break out the old digital caliper and the flat edges and get to measuring. Brembo actually offers an entire PDF that is able to be downloaded and printed out if you ever have to do this, and it shows exactly where and how to measure for this clearance. Now, generally everything is measured from the actual hub surface where the back of the wheel or the face of the wheel is going to mount. And this will be your main reference point for pretty much every measurement. You're going to use the mounting surface for your main point of reference. From there, you'll take measurements such as the distance from the center of the hub to the bottom of the caliper, to the top of the caliper, distance from the face to the hub to the face of the caliper, and a few others just to make sure that there's no jutting out points that are going to come into contact with any of your brake components and your wheel. Once you have those measurements, you are looking at a few choices here. Option A, if you're looking to upgrade your brakes and are worried about the clearance with your existing wheels, you can take those measurements to create a template to cut out and use to see if you're going to have any issues. Or option B, if you're looking at a set of wheels for an already existing big brake setup, you can usually get all of the measurements and all of the distances and everything that you need from the actual wheel manufacturer. Or if you do some research online, you can find all the measurements that you need to reference already. For the most part, you can probably find the answer to almost any setup you're looking to run online somewhere, whether that be a forum about your specific vehicle or our gallery over at fitmentindustries.com, where we're more than 18,000 vehicles in there with aftermarket wheels, and see firsthand if what you want is going to fit or if you're going to need spacers or anything of the sort, so you know what offset and all that good stuff you need to run. The issue of big brake clearance may seem like a daunting problem when you first get into it or when you first start to think about it. However, it's not too bad at all, and there are plenty of resources out there for you to use, and this issue really only comes into play a lot of the time when looking to go with a custom setup or a custom 3-piece wheel or something of that. If I had any tips for you if you need to do this, it would be this one thing. Just measure 1,000 times. Alex and I probably measured more than that when we were getting his measurements for his ESRs for his Porsche, because that's something that you don't like want to mess up or get incorrect and have wheels made that are not going to fit. Measure once, do it again, and then if they don't match, like if those two numbers don't match, just keep doing it. If you've ever played like a musical instrument, it's like the whole thing where keep playing it till you get it 5 times in a row. If you mess up on like the 4th time, go back to the 1st time and start all over. But of course, if you have any other questions or just not sure, just shoot us an email, give us a call. You know, we're here to help you out. So that is some quick tips on how to make sure that your new wheels or your new big brake kit is going to fit all together. I'm Gels from Fitment Industries. Don't forget to subscribe. Wheels, tires, and suspension all over at fitmentindustries.com. We got new hoodies. We got those over there too. It's a great time. We got apparel, we got gear, we got wheels, tire, suspension, whole 9 yards. We'll see you later. Peace.